there, they were visible with a mark on it or a number,
Yeah.
as if it was a sort of stage piece in a theatre.
Yeah, that's called the C rock. C for Charlie.
Yeah.
Because the photograph that many people will have seen shows a rock. In fact, I have the image on here a little bit later.
Yeah.
It does show a rock with the letter C on it, allegedly.
Yes.
The original image, which is the one I have, does not show the letter C.
It was
Because it doesn't actually prove, to me it doesn't prove a great deal. It could well be a little hair that was caught in the camera.
Okay.
What I try to do is to go back to the original photographs as far as I can. And these are from the NASA website, nasa.gov website. These are the official NASA photographs. These are the ones which I use. It's very easy to doctor photographs today, Photoshop, image manipulation.
And in 1966, 67 they could do that as well.
60, 67, 69, 70. Yeah. I don't think Photoshop had been invented then. No. I don't know the history of it, but I don't think it had been.
Okay.
So I look at this photograph. We have a photograph here of the footprint on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it looks a very simple photograph. Mm-hmm. It's actually very difficult to do. Now, this is your mission. Take a Hasselblad camera, don't open the viewfinder, and photograph your foot. Get it in focus. Get the exposure right. Compose it well so that the footprint is in the middle of the image.
Yeah.
And do it only one time. That is your mission. If you say that that is easy to do, I would like to see it demonstrated.
Okay.
Professional photographers say, I wouldn't put too much money on being able to achieve it. If I can bracket my exposure, if I can shoot a whole row of film, I could probably do it. But not one time. Okay. So, again, this is using an official NASA photograph. It's in focus, correctly composed, but no viewfinder, no exposure means this is difficult to achieve. And this is why I question whether what we are being shown was actually taken on the lunar surface by the people we are told took it.
Yes.
I don't think that was the case.
You got more?
There's another interesting sequence which I think there was one here which again worth looking at. It's a photograph of Apollo 11. It's taken by the film camera that was mounted in the lander, we're told. It took one frame every second for the whole time they were on the lunar surface. And it was to photograph their activity. That's why there are two astronauts in the picture. And that is Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. They're both men of a similar height. They are standing on a flat surface, but the shadow lengths are completely different. The shadow length here, why is that? The sun, who we're told is the only source of illumination on the moon, is so far away it will produce parallel shadows. And here it doesn't. It's a mystery. I don't know the answer. It's just
but isn't it a strange thing that these guys must have known and seen that themselves as well? And how can they think they can make this a believable story with all these markers that could point to a fake?
Yeah, no, that's a good point, because these are honourable men. Now, how many people can name a shuttle astronaut? I find it quite difficult. Most people can name the Apollo astronauts. They were public figures. They were promoted as family men, which they were. They were promoted as honourable men, which they were. And as heroes of the American frontier, which they also were. But they were also military men.
Sure.
Every single one of them were military men. And when you're in the military, you obey orders. You don't question the orders, you obey them. When your commander-in-chief, the president, says jump, your only question will be, how high, sir? They were military men, they were under orders. And they also remain under orders, and not one of them will break ranks. So the story will continue. Because some of them are still alive.
Yeah, sure.
And they're getting on a little bit now, they're over 70, they are men who have lived with this question mark hanging over them.
Yes.
But to them, it isn't a question. They were serving their country. And
Sure.
they served it honourably.
Sure.
No question about it.
But these astronauts, after they quit their service, they all took different roads. Some got very religious, seemingly by having a vision of the vulnerability of the Earth from outer space. Something where they become very spiritual and religious because of seeing this Earth in space hanging.
Yep.
Others started talking about UFOs and talking about and disclosing the UFO secrecy.
Yeah.
What can you say about that? Where have they been? If this whole is faked, have they been in outer space and orbited the Earth, and have they been confronted with UFOs, or is this all a make-up as well?
No, so this is one of the most fascinating parts of the whole space travel program, even to today, not just Apollo. Yes, there are many stories of astronauts who claim to have seen UFOs. There are astronauts who have had religious experiences.
Exactly.
There are astronauts who've had become alcoholics. Astronauts whose marriages have broken down. They're human, same as everybody else. They are under pressure. They're experiencing pressure every day of their life. They react in different ways. They may have genuinely seen something they could not explain in space. There are stories about Neil Armstrong allegedly saying, "Oh, they're looking at us, they're over the ridge, they're huge," implying that there were UFOs on the moon. That conversation does not appear in any of the transcripts. There may have been a secret transcript, I don't know, I've never seen it.
But if they haven't been there, how can they say that?
The story indicates that by telling that story or allowing that story to circulate, the implication is that they were there.
Exactly.
That's how it gains credence. People want to believe that man landed on the moon. They want to believe it. They don't like to think that the world has been fooled, the world has been manipulated. It's not something we care to confront. Fortunately now, the year 2010, we are rather more cynical. We're rather better informed about the activities of governments and the way they do manipulate information. That this becomes a believable story. 20, 30 years ago, this was not a story people could believe because the evidence couldn't be presented in the way that we can do it today.
Yeah, sure.
So there has been a change. I would love to believe that we landed on the moon, having watched it live, gone out the window, looked at the moon, said there's men up there.
Yeah.
But no, I can't do that. But I also can't say that they didn't get there because I don't know. I don't have the evidence that they did.
No.
But I can make a fairly strong case for saying that they didn't.
That's what your opinion is.
Yes. My opinion is that I don't know for certain if they went.
You can't check.
I can't check. We can't go back. If there's time, we'll come on to the most recent photographs taken by Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter of the moon, showing the alleged landing sites.
Okay.
We'll come to that if we have time.
Sure. Go ahead.
But just another point, this is the most famous photograph, man on the moon. It was taken by Armstrong of Aldrin. He's standing on the lunar surface, allegedly, with the sun coming over his left shoulder, and the whole of the front of his spacesuit is in shadow. Where is the illumination coming from that makes every detail on the front of his spacesuit visible when the directly illuminated background is not overexposed? The film used, Kodak Ektachrome, has about a 1-stop exposure latitude for those technical details. You have to introduce light into shadow to bring the details out of a shadow area if you're not overexposing the highlights, which you're not. The indication is that there is a reflector to one side, reflecting light back into Aldrin's front.
Yeah.
But they didn't have reflectors on them.